Welcome to another exhilarating episode of Comic Book Straight Talk, brought to you from the secret basement inside one of America's oldest comic shops, Tulsa's own The Comic Empire. Now, true believers, open up your ear holes and get ready to have your head filled with the best comic book knowledge this galaxy can handle. That's right, it's time for another nerd overload with Comic Book Straight Talk.
People who have same-face issues.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so your top 5 women now. Sorry, so
I
thought he was done. I thought he did his top 5.
Yeah,
sorry.
We're done with our top 5 men.
Okay, that's all. See, that Dazzler was a nice segue.
So the top 5 females. This one was kind of hard because
it's really hard to narrow it down.
It's
really hard to narrow it down to 5.
Yeah,
this was a hard one.
The hard one also with females is females change their costumes more often than males.
That's kind of sexist.
And they
to
actually
say,
have. Just an artist. Look at Wonder Woman. How many times did she change in the 70s?
The Wasp.
I just want to point out, it's not sexist to notice facts, okay? Female characters do tend to change costumes more often than male characters.
And they tend to change their clothes in real life a lot more than males do, so.
That's true.
And Raquel have way more outfits than you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I also feel like though, with that frequency, you also have a lot more crap to get through.
Oh yeah.
So it's very hard to pick out. So and that's kind of what I was trying to base up my top 5 is people that can pull off several different looks that weren't horrible. So one of the ones that I went with that I really like was, and she's probably one of my top favorite characters is Psylocke. From her classic costume with the big puffy sleeves
and the hood,
then she went to then she became a ninja, or she had the armor, she had the purple armor with the cape, which I thought was really cool.
What about when she was Captain Britain and she had the red, white, and blue hair?
Well, and she also had that big giant it was a full face mask. It was the cowl that was cut off, but it was yeah. And then she went to become the ninja with the swimsuit and the I think that one stuck around a little bit too long, but they have recently rectified that and made it a little bit better.
I will say with that costume, that one is, depending on who's drawing it,
it can be horrible.
It can be really dumb, and sometimes because I'm sorry, but no woman currently is going to be wearing a high cut bathing suit like that.
Yeah,
when it was designed, when it was high cut. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. When it was really high cut through the crotch. That was in vogue at the time, but then people continued to do it, and it's no. Now she just looks super dated. Yeah. It just looks silly.
But then they did her more X-Force costume, which is more of a bodysuit, which I really like, and with the sash, and I think it's kind of different, and they've kind of gotten away from the more cheeky stuff, and kind of give her more something kind of a ninja armor-ish, more protection. So. She was one of my top 5 that I've always really liked, but I think I'm kind of biased because I've always liked the character also. So and I always liked her her psychic armor when she does psychic battle, and she's got this big giant headdress and this big giant purple cape, and and then her butterfly motif has always been neat. Although I've always wondered where the heck she gets the sword. She always has a sword, but she carries it all the time, and there's no scabbard, so it's she's constantly carrying it, or it disappears.
Sometimes she has a psychic, a pink butterfly sword. But
but
she has
a real sword, and it just comes out of nowhere.
I don't know.
Well, according to Highlander, there's a dimension for swords.
Yeah, it's just like a hammer's face sword.
Yeah, you just put it in, your some portion of your clothing, your trench coat for Highlander.
She picks it up later.
There's a sword dimension.
I mean,
so.
I can
what's
get that. I get on board.
What's the bag in Dungeons and Dragons that you?
The bag of holding.
Yeah. She's got a sash of holding.
She might have a sash of holding.
Oh yeah, it's in her sash.
That's why her swimsuit cut so high that she's got to hide the sword in there. That's where it's got to go.
Whoa!
Not where I was going with that.
That's where you went, though.
That's where I went.
That it's up in there.
No, that's not what I was saying.
No.
Her bikini
no. I'm sorry. I am not keeping a sword up there. I think that would be a little bit uncomfortable.
Anyways.
Edit that out
before
later.
we get too inappropriate.
Well, maybe her sword kind of is a flexible sword. You know, it kind of breaks into, and it could be the belt.
Or it could be like in the new Star Trek, Sulu has that fencing sword
Yes,
that kind of flips out.
that's what I'm talking. Yeah,
fold it up.
Yeah, something like that.
Where
were you going, Terry?
It's made with Ms. Marvel's DNA, just in biggins.
Biggins.
It's really only this big. It's an earring.
Well, it could be like Flash's ring, you know. She opens the ring up, it springs out.
Deborah takes back her accessories.
So go for it, Raquel.
Let me look at your list. Okay, good. You don't have her on here, so I'm gonna go with so one particular Wonder Woman design that I'm quite fond of. So I love the classic. I'm talking 40s when she had the circle skirt going on.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I like that. I like the bathing suit as well, although I don't like it as well as when she had the skirt. But what I really like is that 90s look with the biker shorts and the cropped jacket over a bandeau. That costume is one of those, like the Nomad costume. It's so stupid, and I love it. I believe
this was part of our conversation at the pizza place too.
Well, we had this shared affection for this really dumb costume.
But like you say, the classic's good, but that's because that's the Diodato classic.
Yeah,
well, it makes sense at the time because that was when she was no longer Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And that's when Artemis took over and became Wonder Woman and had those horrible sandals with that outfit. That's just atrocious.
And I think that part of it too is like with Nomad, that was both of them casting off this image and going, I need something totally different. And it doesn't necessarily fit with what you think of their personality, but this was them trying to leave behind their whole image, including their personality, and say, no, I need to put this new foot forward. And they did. I mean, very successfully got something that was, and I also love the way that the straps were done. So it she has a little W with the straps. I mean, it was a smart costume.
And they had the WW belt too.
Yes, but it was still really ridiculous, and I love it.
Well, and one thing I thought was funny that we were talking about that night was that that's something else that can come back nowadays and actually be in style.
Yes. It has
a lot
turned
of people,
back, so that now it is in style. Like it would not have worked for 20 or 30 years in between, but now if she was wearing that costume again, people would be like, that makes sense.
It's kind of like America Chavez in the new Marvel book has that kind of that same line costume.
She's got.
I'm gonna have to look at it now.
Oh, the new America book.
Is she?
Oh yeah.
Did she do the bandeau top?
No, not quite. She's got. Yeah. Well, that's like her new look, but. Oh, but do you mean the Miss America outfit she had that was like a handkerchief around her? Because I am not talking about that one positively.
No, she had like the short shorts and the crop top.
Well, that was when
it was in the
young.
When she was in Young Avengers, she had she had like a new outfit every issue.
Right,
she had like kind of a jacket.
Yeah,
with
one
hood
of the ones.
She's got two in here.
Yeah, one of the ones that she wore in New Avengers was she had like a high-waisted legging with a crop jacket over it, and that was sort of in the same thing where that Wonder Woman costume, it's like it was a high-waisted biker shorts, and it wasn't even a crop top. I mean, it was,
and it kind of like cut in a little bit,
like
right at the and then it had like the little straps that kind of went back and forth, and she had like a jacket,
and then like a denim jacket, like a
and
cropped
then she still had the bands though.
Yeah,
she had the bracelets and.
What else are you going to block those bullets with?
Well, yeah.
Don't they call that look the bullets and bracelets look?
Yeah. I'm quite fond of that look. Not over her classic. I feel like classic Wonder Woman kind of goes without saying that it's a favorite.
Kind of like classic Superman.
Well, I mean,
classic
I don't
Captain
know, because
America.
there are a lot of people that don't like classic Superman, that think that the bread briefs are too hokey. But I really
they're
like.
Wrong.
Yes, they're wrong, but there are people that say that.
There are people that still think that.
Well, I mean, the classic, they keep going back to it, so most people must like it. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a comfort zone. It's just like they know that one and they know that look, and so I
think that's why you always have the argument when they change someone's costume. because it's not that's not the costume we know. It's not.
Well, that's the hard part. I feel like a lot of artists want to make their mark on a book, and they want to change the costume to mark their run. And then a lot of times they, instead of doing subtle changes, like my favorite example is the Wonder Woman costume. You know, they kind of went to that kind of darker blue with the red and the kind of ribbed bustier for the 52. And then when they went to this new one, they went to this. It's more of like an armory look.
Xena.
Yeah, or like a Spartan. Like you know, it's got the armor kind of dress, and I feel like it's very reminiscent of what the old costume does, but it still sticks with her roots. But it's subtle changes. It's not like they're not putting pants on her, which is a horrible idea. You know, she's a Spartan. She's kind of a Roman, kind of this kind of I don't know, like older warrior.
So we like our Wonder Woman pantless.
Well, no, I mean, we were just talking about a costume where she's wearing pants that we like. I mean, yeah, they're like biker shorts, but I mean, they're not. It's not the skirt that you think of. And I've liked a couple of the pants designs that she's had. There's one in particular that I didn't, but we'll get to that when we talk about our least favorite looks, because it's definitely on there. Yeah. But some of the, there are. I mean, I certainly have preferences in the Wonder Woman. Like, one of the things I did not like about the New 52, her initial costume, was they changed the gold to silver. Yeah. And I don't like that. I think it looks tacky. And so, I like the gold is important.
I like the gold better, but I definitely, I don't agree with that it looks tacky, because I felt like the silver did work better with the more muted tones. Like, I felt like they went darker, so it kind of changed it. And I feel like if they would have stuck with the gold, it would have looked a little weird.
I think they could have gone with more of a bronze color then. I don't think the silver looks good. I think that gold or a bronze look. I think that's kind of what it is now with her current costume. It's a muted red and blue, so she's got like a bronze or copper kind of hardware on the costume instead of gold or silver.
All right, so I'm going to move on to my number 2, which, actually 2 of the people on my list is Kenny's love. My second one is going to be the White Queen.
Hell yeah.
I always thought the White Queen, for the character that she is, has always had an interesting costume. She's always had something that was kind of, I don't know what the right word is, sensuous?
Yeah.
Sexy?
Burlesque.
Yeah.
Skanky. But I actually looked up online, and I was looking at a different picture of all the different costumes she had, and I always loved like all the bustiers that she did. And when she was headmistress of Generation X, and she had like the bustier with the jacket
and the kind of business suit kind of outfit.
And then she did the crop top with the cape that kind of had the little V-neck. My favorite one was. And I think it's because
the original one was a bustier.
No!
Yes!
No, that one's my favorite. That was on my list.
Frank Whiteley.
I was just going to say, you all talked about Logan and Wolverine and that run. I was going to say that.
Frank Whiteley.
Yes.
That negative space X. It's so good.
And
it's genius.
Those giant boots with the platforms in them, and then she had like the long Donna Versace wig that went all the way down to her butt. It was totally impractical.
Sometimes she wore a fur coat over it.
Oh,
it was so
that was probably my all-time favorite.
The thing too is that one is so ahead of its time, because what she's essentially wearing is a diaper. She's got and what do you? I mean, that design was not in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. That was back in I think 2000 or 2001.
Yeah,
and that's not at all what girls were wearing. It turns out, you go not that much further in the future though, and now what do you see every single summer? Every teenage girl is out there wearing a denim diaper basically now. I mean. This was legitimately ahead of its time fashion-wise. And I think that one of my issues with Emma Frost is that she's often portrayed as being as though she's interested in fashion, and yet she's not drawn fashionably. Mm-hmm. And this was one time...
Not fashionably for the time.
Right. No,
she's always different. She's always been,
Well, but what I mean is that often, I mean, this is not just her, other characters too, where they're like, oh, she's fashionable, and whoever's drawing them has never looked at fashion. And so they draw them in whatever their vision of fashion is. And I felt like that costume was one of the ones where she really was wearing something.
Well, and then even like her Phoenix costume when she turned into part of the Phoenix Force,
and she
was like that gold,
super high cut.
Again high
with the high cut crotch.
But
you like
it
the
didn't
high cut
stop.
crotch. What's
it
up
didn't
with that?
stop. It was like one piece. It was like
yeah,
and
then she had like straps.
Yeah, which I thought was like very. I mean, like it's a screamed white queen without being I don't know. It didn't take away from the character. It like actually added to her.
Yeah.
And then again, when they brought her in, like for the newer ones that she has, they went back to that negative space where it's kind of got that eye in the middle, and so like I like that one too. That she's got it's the black, and it's kind of making her more dark. And again, costumes kind of change with like how she's changing. She's becoming a different kind of character, a little bit more somber because Cyclops is gone and all that stuff. So.
Where's she at now, anyway? Comic-wise, I don't remember.
She's with they're with the Humans versus the X-Men.
That's where she's at now.
Yeah. So, but that would be my next pick. But that would be number 2 for me. So.
And when it comes to her, I mean, the Frank Quitely one with a negative space X and the Headmistress outfits are really the only two of hers that I like. I'm actually not a big fan of a lot of her costumes.
And I've always and then like her Hellfire Club, again, that was something that was, it was
when she was just in the lingerie with like a fur cape.
Yeah, but that's what it was. It was like the part of this like.
I know they were basically
kind of
they basically had this sex club.
Yeah.
That they had.
Well, I mean that's what the Hellfire Club was.
Yeah.
It was a sex club.
Yeah. And so it fit. It worked for what it was.
Well, no,
real
Hellfire
I think they kept it around
Club
for a while, but then
I think that was one that was kept around a little
bit too long. Yeah. I don't
know. They should bring it back.
But that being said, the thing that I like about Emma Frost too is that you can't be like, oh well, why is she wearing that? We don't know what she's wearing. For all we know, she's always wearing sweatpants, and she's just making us think that she's wearing these ridiculous costumes. Like, she probably is not really wearing that ridiculous negative space X costume, because that doesn't make any sense. There's no way that really could work in real life. Even when you see cosplayers doing it, you're like, yeah, no, that's not quite it. Or they've got, the clear tape. It doesn't work, so I don't think she really is wearing that. I think she's just walking around in a Snuggie all the time, and she just makes everyone around her think that she's wearing these ridiculous costumes.
Eating bonbons.
I know that's what I would do.
Yeah. She looks like Peg Bundy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, big hair, pulled back in a ponytail.
Well,
she has one of the greatest quotes in all of comicdom, too. When Jean Grey asked her why she was such a bitch, and she said, proper upbringing. Proper breeding, darling, I think is what she said.
Okay. Oh, man. Well, see, I've had a hard time narrowing this down to 5, partly because there have been a lot of relatively recent designs that I just love. I mean, I think there's been an amazing, push to have really great designs in especially the female characters. And so there's been a lot of modern ones that I really, really like. And one of them that I don't think gets talked up a lot is Sif. Her sort of current design that she has. She's had it for a few years now. I think it was maybe like 2011 or 2012 that she got it. And it's I like it. It's a very modular design. She's got all these different pieces, and she wears some of them sometimes she doesn't wear others. And it's like sort of red shorts, and she's got a belt over it, and then she's got a long sleeve red top and a cape, and her headpiece has been changed a little bit. And I really like that one a lot. And I especially like that when she had her own book and she was wearing it, that she did have all these different components, and she would sort of take it on, take different pieces off as suited. When she was off fighting frost giants, she had like a fur cloak and, some extra leggings and stuff like that. And then when she was somewhere warmer, she stripped down a little bit more. And when she was like hanging out at her, her house or in her bedroom or whatever, she'd taken it down to where it almost looked like a pajama. Sort of, because she took off all the armor bits and everything. And
she still had the pants and the...
Yeah, so she still had, she basically put on some leggings, and so, it almost looked like she was in, loungy clothes. So I really like that. I mean, part of that was, I think, the credit of the artist, who I think was Valerio Schiti, just doing a really, a good job with the art in there. But I liked that costume, and
She's got a great color scheme too. Like
that red and white.
Yeah, the red and white.
Yeah, she looked, and then there was a cover that by Acuna that of her like on a horse in the cosmos. She's on a cosmic horse of some sort, holding up a sword. That just is beautiful. I think it's one of my.
You're thinking of Valkyrie. With the blue, I think.
No, I meant red.
red.
I'm looking at it, and I just said I meant blue and I meant red.
Yeah.
Well, Valkyrie's got a nice costume
Valkyrie,
too.
Her recent one is horrible. Those stupid fuzzy boots is like voodoo all over.
I like the fuzzy
Oh
boots.
my god,
fuzzy
it's horrible! Like she had such a good one where she had like the bodysuit and it was just the silver breastplate and then like the pigtails and then she had the just regular boots, and then now it's like these stupid fuzzy boots, and they look horrible.
She had like
She
it's like
needs those to stay
fur.
warm.
She's got like fur leg warmers that
In
are
New
strapped
York?
on with belts.
It's cold in New York.
Not all year round.
I quite like the furry boot look.
I can't stand it.
I think that's a cute one.
I didn't even like it back when the voodoo when she did it. Like I never liked it. Was one of the things that
Well, when we went and saw Cruella that night, you were going off about all the girls in their furry
You
boots.
do not like
atrocious.
the boots with the fur.
No boots with the fur.
Okay.
I mean,
Not even a little fringe.
little fringe, that's okay, but when it's like all
He doesn't like
fur,
apple
it
bottom
just-
jeans
yeah.
either, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're, well, I mean, like, but it fits with her.
I think
her
that
namesake,
I think that
but
it
it
works
is very
well, especially because she's usually like on a mount, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she's got to protect her legs from things.
Yeah.
I think that it makes sense.
Just to see the look on Alan's face.
And Vikings wore
Yeah.
boots like that, so
Yeah.
It makes me cringe. I was so sad when it happened. Just like no.
I think it's a cute look.
All right, what's up next?
All right, so number 3 for me, another one of Kenny's favorites, probably all-time favorite, is going to be Catwoman.
Hell yeah.
But here's where Kenny is not going to agree with me.
Nope.
I know.
I always liked her. I really liked when who did it? Darwin
Darn
Cook
did
when he did the
goggles.
big goggles and the giant boots and the belt for the whip and
It's not that I don't like that costume. It's that the reasoning for redesigning her was because they said Jim Balance costume was ridiculous and wouldn't work for a cat thief. So they decided to put a big shiny belt buckle on her and belt buckles on her shoes and a big ring around her neck so she can choke herself while she's climbing through buildings. And that's supposed to be so much better than Balance cat
And stealthier
Well, and
too.
Balance costume was just basically a leotard with thigh-high boots.
See, but
Yeah.
Balance costumes work because of the
It
way
had
he
a tail,
drew
too,
him.
didn't
Or it may have had a
No.
tail. No tail.
Didn't have a tail?
That was Frank Miller's
Yeah.
design that had the tail.
Okay.
So yeah,
And that was the one piece, like where she actually had the mask and everything like that, where she had the purple costume thing. But no, he just had like was it gray? No, it was black.
It was a purple leotard
Tar
with
with
the
the black thigh-high boots,
Yeah.
or like whatever they were.
But she had like
And
the
then
big,
mask.
voluminous curly hair
Yeah.
too, right?
But that's what I'm saying.
But that was
that's
the
why it
90s.
worked
Oh, yeah,
for
no,
her
it
because
was.
it was the way he drew it. It worked for her like it was very much a Catwoman, very sleek and like cat burglary, like where she
her
could slip
claws.
in and
Right,
her fingernails, she could do
Yeah.
the.
well, even like her classic ones. Like I love the purple with the kind of loincloth.
I like that, and the little
Oh, yeah,
cape,
with
the
the-
little sort of half
Yeah,
cape
with the
kind of going on.
Like
That's
I
my
love
favorite.
That one.
the
and,
classic 70s, I think.
TV wise, like I
Silver
always
Age.
loved,
Yeah,
I've
Silver
loved
Age.
almost all of them except for the atrocious one Holly Berry made. That was.
that
Holly
that-
Berry?
No,
Don't pretend like that didn't happen.
that didn't happen.
But like I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman's costume was awesome. The original '60s show was awesome. All of them. I mean, like she's just really had some really
I liked
great
Anne
costumes.
She's
Hathaway's,
had some bad
like,
ones,
razor
too, though.
stilettos too.
Anne Hathaway's. I loved her goggles. The way how they became the
Give little cat ears.
That was cool.
It worked. Worked well. So.
Catwoman's had some bad ones too.
Yeah.
Yes, but for some reason they like a lot of
They
them
didn't
have
last
worked.
long,
They
I
didn't
think.
last long, but they worked for what it was. Like what is it? The blue dress with the red belt, where it was just kind of like she was like in a dress.
What was it like?
Yeah.
The blue, like a light blue, like leotard.
And the pirate boots.
Yeah,
yes. And there's been
powder
a couple, and
And then the feminist costume where
You
she
have
had
to narrow it
the mask was kind of shaped like horn-rimmed glasses.
Mm-hmm. That may have been the same.
It was like no, it was green.
The cartoon Catwoman was amazing.
Cartoon Catwoman was fantastic.
with the gold ringlets or the gold medallion belt.
Because and there again, it's a gray it's a gray suit. Yeah.
And then she did the green one, which I'm not quite sure that one was about, but she's one of my favorites. So she's had some really neat ones that, and even more recently, like her, more redesigned bodysuit is really neat.
Well, yeah, when she became the leader of the underground, in the comics.
I liked her just business suit with the short hair.
Yep.
That one I thought was such a great look. I thought she looked fantastic in that. I wish she would have stuck in that look for a while. I mean, it was like her hair just looked great. Yeah,
this one I just showed. Yeah.
The green one.
I don't know what that's up with. Yeah. I don't know what is on it. Like, is it just like?
Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, it was like green with the gold medallions around. It was horrible.
That's what she's trying to be Poison Ivy.
It's atrocious. I'm not quite sure what green's got to do with the cat anyway. It's like that one.
What does purple have to do with the cat?
I don't know. Well,
see, and that's the thing. I don't really like the one purple one that we all agreed on that was good. I like, but other than that, I definitely prefer her in the black or the gray. Mm-hmm. I think that especially when it was the purple and green together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just tacky.
I love that purple and green dress.
It's
awesome.
What's
no,
nice?
There was two of them. There was one that was like it was a longer cape and a little bit more of a kind of a ankle dress. Not the one that you're thinking of. The one that you had a shirt of, where it's like the kind of almost a loincloth where it cuts like up to her mid thigh. Yeah.
The one that does the Funko one.
I think the only one that can pull off purple and green is the Hulk.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, that was number 3 for me. So go for your third.
For my number 3, okay. So, gosh, there's so many recent ones that are so good. So I'm gonna go with the one we already did bring it up. I'm gonna go with Spider-Gwen. That's one. And when I saw that cover, I was like, I have to get this book. This cover. I mean, this is the best, superhero redesign I've seen in a long time. And then everyone else kind of thought the same thing, and so that that issue got completely sold out. And I understand. I mean, it's just you look at it and you're like, how has this not already been done? Like it somehow looks modern and classic at the same time.
Going back to your Scarlet Spider, it's the hoodie,
and that's
but
it
works.
Looks cool, and it something about it looks feminine without it being like a bikini and long hair. Like you look at it and it's still like it looks feminine, but not so feminine that a man can't wear it too. Right. I mean, it's just the colors are great. I mean, the colors are very current.
I think the hood has a lot to do with it. Like the hood with that negative space with the black in the hood, and then the white on the mask is very much it plays off a lot.
Well, that's one thing I'm also seeing at a lot of the cons are people cosplaying as Spider-Gwen now, which I think is great.
And I think
that's a new character they're doing.
The colors are really fantastic. And you can tell, like, sometimes the colors doesn't quite get it right. They don't use that vibrant magenta, or they don't use the nice bright turquoise. Yeah. Like the colors are important. When you wash it out or mute it, the design loses something. But I think that it's just really like it's sleek and perfect. I mean, I just think it's great, and it was just such a shock to see it and go like, how had no one done this before? The thing that makes it feminine too is the way it's not overt, but it's got that like it could just be a chevron, but it's a little bit like cups. She's got the black that goes into white,
right?
And so it gives that sort of illusion of chest without it being like a tit window or something. It's there, but it's not overt.
Power Girl.
I have a feeling Power Girl's going to be on her least favorite.
We'll get to that.
But I definitely feel like Spider-Gwen is also one that that particular costume I think could hold up over time. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like in 10 years, like if they still kept with the same scheme, I think it would still be well done or still hold up. It's definitely something, and it's different than it sets her apart. I feel like
the other thing too that's great about it is the shoe part. which because she's got that like it's like, is it a shoe? Because sometimes people will draw it almost like she's wearing like a turquoise ballet flat, and sometimes what I think was intended is that like the bottom part of the legging has like a Converse type sole.
It's almost like a onesie.
And either way, I think that it looks really great and just really like comfortable and cute. You know, it's got the things that you want in a shoe.
I feel like it really does well for the feminine side of the Spider-Verse, as opposed to like what they were trying to do with Silk, which I'm not. I mean,
her costumes. It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. I feel like it's almost like they almost didn't finish the mask. Like they were like, well, what are we gonna do for a mask? And they're trying to do like more of a. It's
like a
ninja
veil.
Like it's just.
It gives it more of a ninja look.
Yeah, and I just don't think they. You know, she's supposed to be kind of like his. You know, his other half. At some point, you know, she's supposed to be like they were supposed to be together, and it's. I don't think they quite worked as well as the Spider-Gwen costume did as a more feminine spider character.
It just doesn't. It just feels like it's just there.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't feel like it's this revelation of design the way that the spider. And that's the thing is like not every superhero costume is always perfect. You know, and you know sometimes what it comes down to is you need to have the superhero can't be out there naked.
Wow.
Got to put them in something. I mean, well, I guess you know they can. You know what is Johnny Storm wearing when he's flame awning around? He looks pretty nude to me, even if you can't see the business. But that's not the point. So anyway, Spider-Gwen.
It has unstable molecules.
That's what I'm going with.
It has unstable molecules. This is true. So my number 4, I kind of went through a couple of them that I started getting. This one's probably my most controversial one for myself because she's had several ones that are I'm sure will be brought up. But Black Canary. I've always loved Black Canary as a character, but I've also liked a lot of her costumes from the classic, you know, black with the fishnets and then the buccaneer boots and then the little jacket with the little crop jacket.
So the classic look.
Well, I've loved almost all of her costumes. The only one that I really was not a fan of.
That bird one?
Yes, I love the
like
the
disco
blue
bird.
Yes.
That's the one. Is that the one she burned?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one she burned.
That's the one she burned.
So only you were a favorite of that one, apparently.
No, she was right about
much
her.
like Raquel's Nomad and her other classic ones that she loves that are probably semi-atrocious.
Yeah.
Nomad
is one of the ones that I really liked, but I also think I really liked it because of the artist at the time, which was McGuire? No. Who was it?
Kevin McGuire.
Yeah.
On
Was
Justice
it?
League?
Yes.
Yes.
Wasn't he the one that redid the Justice League America?
Mm-hmm.
And I loved his art, and I think he did really well with all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Chris Blines, his expression on his faces were amazing, and I think that's what kind of made that costume for me. It's like I really love that art, and I think
it can be hard to separate that.
It is that kind of. And again, it was that kind of era. It was kind of like a weird era where like they were relaunching kind of things a little bit, and so I know most people will not agree with me on that one, but it was the ones that I liked.
I think
but the one that I hated for her was when she did the short black hair, where she did like the short, like almost military cut black hair, no fishnets. It was just like the body or the big
like
corseted swimsuit, and then she had like just like the little boots.
Oh yeah, no.
It was just atrocious.
It was kind of a punk rock look.
Yeah,
kind of
it was
thing.
just like I don't know, It was kind of when she was with Green Arrow, when they did it was the Green Arrow where she actually got her vocal cords got damaged, and that's where she was kind of like not wearing the wig and she was a blonde. And then
that'd be the '90s Grail Green Arrow series, wasn't it? Around that time.
She was.
Trevor Von Eden was the one I think that did her.
Okay.
And in Grail, she didn't really have a big.
She didn't. Well, she was just. She was
Green
there,
Arrows.
yeah, she was there. She had the flower shop,
Right.
And all that. Yeah, but she wasn't in costume. That's true.
But then
she did have her hair cut though
Right, she had the hair short.
the black short hair and the.
Yes. And then
Which I think's a good look on her.
Yeah.
With the blonde wig over also.
Yes.
Extra
I think
super identity.
But I really did like when they brought her back with the Birds of Prey originally. When they first started the Birds of Prey, she had like that kind of blue and yellow, dark blue kind of bathing suitish with the, Frank.
Gary Frank.
Gary Frank. he did the art at the time, and like it was, I loved it. I thought it was neat. It was kind of different, but it kind of, it was a little more practical. Even though it was a bathing suit, it was still like semi-practical because eventually she ended up getting like the full body suit that was kind of more armory, and then obviously it progressed. The other one that I'm not a fan of is her current one. I feel like her current one is very, and I think a lot of it has to do with the art. I haven't been a really big fan on any of the artists that have done, like, I didn't like the artist on Black Canary, and I'm not a fan of the artist on the current Birds of Prey. It just is not working for me. It's almost like she's like this punk rock. She's supposed to be a punk rock singer, like a rock singer, and so in that aspect, it does kind of work for the what it is. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's not really a costume. It's just like her wearing street clothes and she's fighting crime.
Yeah.
And everybody else is in, like Batgirl's in a costume and Huntress is in a costume and everybody else is in a costume and she's in a jean jacket and some ankle boots.
I did like, you said that she was wearing the Buccaneer boots, but really they were more of like a fold-over ankle boot, which she was wearing over the fishnet. And I really quite liked that because I felt like that was, I own a pair of those boots, like basically like a little, like a kitten heel fold-over ankle boot. It's a great look. You can wear it with all kinds of things. It's classic. And I think that was a great boot that she had.
Well, and even it harked back to her mom. It was kind of like that the old original Black Canary that did it, and then she picked that up. And so I think that was one of the reasons that I've always loved her classic look for sure. But over the years, she's definitely done some different things, and I've always liked a lot of her stuff. Yeah. So, and I think a lot of hers though has to do with who draws it. Also, she's one of those ones that's
definitely. She had one of her New 52 looks that I know a lot of people didn't like because it looked more like pants, I guess. But she had like a fishnet pattern on her pants, and it was sort of like a turquoise pant with the black fishnet over it. And I liked that because I felt like it sort of was an homage to, it used to be that when she wore the fishnets, the colorist wouldn't color in the fishnet with flesh. They would color it in with a turquoise.
The blue.
I think that part of that was kind of a comics code thing, like they didn't want her to look like she was wearing fishnets, maybe.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And so I liked that that costume pretty well for what it was. I mean, she wasn't supposed to be street level in that, to some extent. They were working for some organization or something. And I thought that it was a good compromise between what she was doing, giving her a more uniform costume, and keeping with what her roots were. But I agree with you though that the sort of fishnets, the boots, the jacket, I just think it's a great look.
And the striking blonde hair, I love that. Yes. That it was all dark and then it was a striking blonde wig. So
yes. And I think it's really a testament to her fighting skills that she could do all that in those heels. Good on her.
Yeah. At all times, you should always be able to fight in heels.
Oh yeah, totally. Like Superman and his heel boots that he's always wearing.
That's why I've always had more respect for women superheroes, is because they can fight in heels.
Because they can fight in heels. Okay, so is who's on the bottom of your list here? Okay. Good, because I want to talk about Storm. Storm has had some really good costumes. I will say I'm not a huge fan of her white costume. I mean, it's okay. I don't dislike it, but it's not my favorite.
I agree.
I really like the one that she's had quite recently. I don't think it's her current costume, but it was like a cape, but it like attached at her wrists, and
kinda
it just
like
looked
circle.
Yeah, and it just it was like a circle that was cut in half, kind of a semicircle, you might say. I think that one looked great, and she was wearing it like over sort of like a black bodysuit, and I just think that it looks so classic and chic, and I love the mohawk. I mean, I love all of her hair. She's had some great hair. I think that mohawk is a good one, and I think just like the big, luscious white body.
I definitely think Storm has had some ones that are like way more drastic and stand out. She either her costume is just okay, or it's great. And I
fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And I like her original mohawk.
Well, her original costume, period, the one with the headdress and John Byrne, that everybody hates him, but I love him.
Yeah. So who hates John Byrne?
I don't hate John Byrne. I just said
all his faces look the same.
Now they do.
Yes.
Back when he was doing X-Men, man, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah, he was. That was
even his FF run, awesome. Those three series.
We digress. So, but like that classic with the headdress and the cut-in swimsuit with the thigh-high boots with the 3 holes in it.
Yeah.
That will always be Storm forever. But then when she did the Mohawk thing, which was a huge different, totally 360, was just, it became, she really owned that look when she became the leader of the X-Men because of that look, and she had to deal with a lot more because she lost her powers for a while, and there was a lot that went along with just that, again, like that mega change in the comic books was, and the mega change for a character, and she had a different look for it to go with it, and so I thought that was one of her great looks. And then I liked the white costume.
I don't dislike the white costume, but
the white costume was the one they used in the animated series, right?
Yes.
Also
with the big giant shoulder pads.
Yeah.
And I think that part of it is that as much as I love that animated series, I kind of hate every single costume in it.
Oh, it's so dated. Every single one's dated.
And even at the time, I just remember thinking, like, really?
Yeah.
But we can get into that a little bit later.
Yeah,
but
so
I do like that. I like the white one, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah. Storm had some really, really great ones. So.
I liked the one where she had the short hair, but like the long strands in the front.
Oh, that was where we're...
it was like from an animated series.
Yes.
No, Joe Mandiari.
Yes.
Madeira.
Yeah.
Madeira or...
Joe Mad, whatever you want
to
repronounce his name. I'm so sorry, but I love you. I love you very much.
Do more comments.
But, yes, please. But when he did that, he was the one that did that look. And he did it really well. But the thing with that one was it was a lot more of a... Like, she had these big armbands that were kind of like these metal armbands, and she had, like... It worked for his style.
I kind of like her queen outfit.
Huh?
When she became, the Black Panther's wife, became Queen of Wakanda. That kind of was
Well, and that's what
that kind of is a throwback to the old style costume in a sense, with a little more regally.
Yeah, and she's always had really good costumes, but they've always been like you either like, okay, she's got a new costume, or you're like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's not a lot.
I don't feel like she has a lot of misses.
Yeah, there's not.
I can think of one, but we'll discuss that one in a minute.
There has been some costumes that want a different artist, and
we'll discuss the one I'm thinking of.
Referring to with the long strands. Definitely, there were some artists that did that was atrocious. But when it was done by an artist that, a good artist, then it usually worked well. So the next one that I had, and I went to a couple different ones. Like I really wanted to bring up Abigail Brand from Sword because I'm in love with the new shoulder pads in the Alpha Flight costume, and they've got the kind of that like Sur jacket where it's that cut off like dress jacket. But I didn't go with that one. I went with the one that I always liked when I was younger, that I grew up with. Apparently, I thought I deleted all those photos. Was the Wasp.
Ah.
And the Wasp was one of the people that were supposed to be kind of a fashionista. And when John Byrne did the Avengers, he always drew her. And every adventure that they did, he always drew in a different costume. And she had so many different costumes, it was ridiculous.
Even in the downtime, she was always, where's Janet? Oh, I can't do this. I got to go do a dress fitting with blah, 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 blah. He would always throw in some designer.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yes. So, yes.
Yeah, she was always with something. And so, like, I feel like she definitely had... Now, the hard part with Wasp, though, is that there was so many amazing ones. But there were so many horrible ones. Like, she was about, I'd say, a good, like, probably, 70% hits? Maybe?
Maybe.
Like, it really depends on who you're talking to, but, like, she's had some really good ones. And even, like, her more recent ones I really like. I really liked before she was, before she was shrank down or killed off. She had that kind of, it's almost like a bug thorax black looking one with the yellow accents.
Right.
Was kind of the bodysuit. I thought that one was really cool. It kind of went with her Wasp persona, but
well, I like the red. It was like the red. I don't want to say hot pants, but The red pants and the red halter top, and that was I thought was pretty good too.
Well, she did, and there was like several ones. Like I remember one, like she had the over the shoulder. It was white, and it had like a blue W on it, and it was like a bodysuit, and then she had blue boots, and she's had so many. Now I have to say, I do not like the current Wasp's costume.
It's a little boring.
It is, and I'm like,
it's a little safe.
I love shoulder pads, but I'm not quite sure what those are about, and like I don't know what
do
the
you
side.
Want shoulder pads, Alan?
Huh?
Do you want shoulder pads?
I secretly want shoulder pads. Like I think I'm gonna just start selling them into all my shirts.
Just go with it.
Yeah, start. You never
Is that
know
the one
until you
you're
try.
talking about?
Yeah,
That's Joe Madureira?
yeah.
Okay.
Or that one might be LaRocca.
I think that may be LaRocca. It's one
We're
of the
talking
two.
about a storm one.
Yeah, storm
Yeah.
costume.
Yes, yeah, sorry.
The button
Sorry.
shop one.
Yeah.
But I don't like the new current Wasp where she's got like the I don't even know what the saddlebag thing
Yeah.
like with saddle side protectors. I'm not. Yeah, I think it could have been streamlined a little bit more or made it more like the bug motif like they did with the
The thorax.
The
thing,
thorax
Yeah. No,
armor.
that one is really good. That one, and that's sort of like when you search for like Wasp,
yeah.
modern Wasp, like that's the image that comes
Where she had
up.
like this short haircut
Yes.
and it was like almost that page boy looking and
Yes,
just cute.
I do like that she has often had a short haircut.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great and makes her look distinctive. Okay, so, gosh, I feel like I'm ending on kind of a lame note just because this was not like a big costume, was only showed up in a couple of issues, and we haven't seen this character since then, but in Avengers Assemble, when Kelly Sue was writing it, the Toxic Doxy showed up. And she had this costume that was just out of this world.
And
then
you're just sending Alan to Google
I know,
the
like
picture.
everything is gonna Google.
it was amazing. Like the last time we'd
Toxic
seen her,
Doxy.
she was in like an orange prison costume, like a prison suit. Like she was a prisoner and she'd broken out or something, and so she was just wearing an orange costume. So, yes, this is the one.
Yes.
She's got on like leggings and this cowl with a hood, and
But
it's
the
all
cow's like really long.
the
and
cow's
kind of-
super long,
Yeah.
and it's white and gray and lime green, and it's beautiful. And then after that issue came out, the next season, I think it was Valentino or Christian Dior had this collection that was full of hoods and long cowls and those neon accents, and it was like that was another time when it was like, no, this was seriously like this was cutting edge, ahead of its time costume, and we have not seen her since, and I'm so mad because I love that costume and I want to see it, and it was never on a cover either, which is tragic.
And it's actually
Well, and then
characters I don't know what
Was she like a Scarlet Witch at one time?
She was
Yes.
Scarlet Witch. For
She
the
was. She's a
the
Dark
Avenger.
Avengers. She
Yeah.
was the Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
And
June
then
Covington.
And she
Okay.
had that. She has those like big giant John Lennon yellow
Yes.
glasses, with
That,
goggles.
if
Yeah.
you don't know what I'm talking about, listeners,
Google it.
Google it. You will not be disappointed. It is amazing. And if anyone at Marvel is listening to this by chance, bring her back. I want to see that costume again.
It was really good, but I think the thing that also made it work was the coloring.
Yes.
You know, it's got that bright neon green.
Yes.
And then those yellow glasses were just like.
The coloring
They
is
were- yeah.
amazing. I'm not sure. I think Matt Wilson might have colored that issue. It looks like his coloring.
Well,
is
even like
beautiful.
the details on her, like I love her belt and the arm bands. Like it's like this leathery straps with these little accents around it, which I really love, and like all the little piping and stuff on her bodysuit is really neat. And her hair, I love her hair. Like she's had this long kind of tresses in the front, which I think were really neat. They did, yeah. It is. That is a good one.
And Anya Corazon also was in that. She was Aranya, and now she's Spider Girl, and she like made herself a costume when she was at Avengers Tower.
It's a horrible costume, Ariana.
Oh, her original Aranya
Yes.
costume. Her original Aranya costume was
The shirt.
so early 2000s. It hurts to look at.
But her new one, yeah.
But the costume that she made at Avengers Tower during this little mini, arc that was going on was also really cute. There were just great costumes going on there that we never saw again, and it's really sad because it was. You should also read that last arc of Avengers Assemble because it was really good.
Well, now,
That was our 10.
it was 10.
10 females, 10 males.
You got 5? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see 4 or 5 on
Right.
we didn't talk about. One of them I thought.
Go ahead. Psylocke, White Queen, Catwoman, Black Canary, and Wasp.
Okay. Well, what's the
My
worst one?
5 favorites are
Oh yes.
Catwoman, Josie, Valerie, Melody, and Black Cat. You see a theme?
yeah.
Very subtle.
Yeah.
Very subtle.
I'm a fan of I don't really like the new 52 and the new one, the Poison Ivy. The Jim Lee, with the plants on her, because that makes sense. And that
the one
I
that's like a bodysuit, but with like green plants, like an asymmetric.
Yeah.
I think that one's really cute.
Yes.
Like the one when she had her own series, not just
Yes.
like last year.
Right. Yeah. I think that was really good. And I like the classic Harley Quinn costume. I don't like the new one.
Yeah.
I kind of like her roller derby costume.
Right.
I think it's cute, and I think when it's sometimes the shorts get turned into a bikini, and
Right.
it's like that's not. It's supposed to be sporty,
Right.
not underweary.
Right.
But I really like her classic one, and I hate. Okay, well, I'm not going to get into the one that I hate because that's going to come up in my least favorite.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So
Well,
what?
I have to say, like the Harley Quinn though is very. I feel like everything nowadays is going to movies. Like if it's done in the movie, like I really liked her red and black hair. Like she had one half, and now it's like blonde with tips.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which I'm like,
Yeah. She
I feel like
has
it's
gone
too
to the
forced.
movie
It's too
hair.
going. I understand why they're doing it, but it's just frustrating because it's like, but she was fine the other way.
Also, I know that it won an Oscar for Best Makeup, but I do not like the one eye pink, one eye blue makeup. I think it looks weird. It makes everyone's face look asymmetric when they do it. And it looks silly on the
It should
cover
have
of this
won. That's
comic,
that's
too.
what's sad.
So
But,
Well, I mean, that look was very iconic.
It
I mean, you
was,
see it
right.
everywhere. I mean, whoever designed that look did their job correctly. And, there were, as far as impact, cultural impact, I agree with it winning. But that's a whole nother topic.
I think there were other movies that took the makeup and the design stuff
Further.
Yeah, certainly.
for sure.
like the Star Trek, last
I
Star
know.
Trek movie.
Okay, I like
Yeah.
Jayla's design in that. I thought it was
Well,
really
and,
good,
just
and I
the
understand
co-
that technically there's a lot going on in there,
Right.
but I actually didn't really love a lot of the makeup.
Well, there wasn't. They did like the one creature with it, but it was.
I didn't think that looked good.
They did. Well, they just.
Well,
they
I
focused
do
on
have
like
to say,
3 people, and that
Idris
was like.
Elba's costume or his look, that wasn't CGI lights. There were actual lights embedded in his makeup, which I think is cool technically,
Yeah.
but design wise, I mean J-Lo was amazing, but yeah. We're very off topic right now.
Off topic, yes. Okay, sorry.
So I thought the last thing we would do was like some team looks that I thought would really like. I thought worked well.
Team looks that work
Yeah.
well, and we have to talk about some least favorites. We can
Well,
do that.
I think we'll have to do at least favorite. Yeah, we'll have to do.
We have to do a
Well, actually,
second
we
episode.
can keep going. We can edit it, make it into 2 episodes. If you want
Okay.
to.
I just didn't. I think I'm prepared for least favorites.
Oh, you didn't come prepared?
I
Oh,
didn't come
that's fine.
prepared.
I'm
Had to make
always prepared for least favorites. But we can also do one that we can talk about teams and least favorites.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can either do that now or we can do it another day.
We can do it another day. We've already been here just
hour and a
recording
half.
an hour and a half.
Oh.
We can actually cut that into probably 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's
there.
what we could probably, yeah.
Yeah, that might be
So-
a way to do it, to have a men and a
that's
women.
fine.
I mean, that's
Okay.
fine. We can always come back and do another.
That's true.
Oh, this was a great episode.
No,
I've
I
learned
thought-
I've learned a lot about fashion. I mean, when I read my comic books,
surprised.
I don't even think about the fashion of it really.
The one that because you kind of throw back the Wonder Woman classic costume. No, Supergirl.
I do love Supergirl's costume. Are we currently recording, by the way?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah,
We can
we
record
are.
it.
I do love Supergirl's costume. I think the hard part is that there are so many great costumes.
Well, the one I think is
and it's so similar to Superman's too.
Oh, but she has the dress, or the little skirt,
has,
and the
she has
halter.
a lot
Yeah.
of
Like
variations.
the Michael Turner.
There's
Supergirl
that one
cover.
Donna Troy costume that I really like, where she's got like the universe in it.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it's like
actually
the
I
star
wanted to bring up.
bodysuit one.
That was one of the ones that I kind of thought about was for my top 5 was both Donna Troy and Wonder Girl have both had some really good costumes. Wonder Girl specifically comes to mind just because, Cassidy Sandsmark.
The red outfit.
Well,
Sure.
she started off with that horrible outfit. Was it a black John Byrne.
John Byrne.
It's like 6 degrees from John Byrne. So like it had like that the cutoff bangs, and then like it was just like this crop bob wig, and she had that like I don't even know what they were, like shorts ish, kind of rolled up, and then she had the jacket and the black shirt with the W on it, and then she just had some big shoes, and I was just like, ugh, it was horrible. But then Todd Knock, he did Young Justice, and then he turned her into like she had the jeans, like a jean kind of pant with the t-shirt and the goggles, and then kind of progressed to the red with the halter top and the gold stars down the side, and she kind of got a headband, and
the best character from that whole run, Arrowette, and they haven't done anything with her.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of, but they really they kind of wrote her out of the book after a while. Like she did
she killed somebody.
Yeah, and then she did like she went to Apocalypse and was helping with the emergency crew, and so they brought her in a couple times. And same with the Empress, like they just kind of like did off with her. Well, that whole
run.
I love that whole book.
Yeah,
like,
Todd Knock Young Justice.
Todd Knock is one of my.
What was their first villain? Had the giant boobs and kept falling over.
Oh God!
And the headquarters is Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had that was such a good run.
Yeah.
It was
because they really did they did some fun stuff, and then they kind of made it into a more serious book, and then they really helped it. Like it was part of the universe. But anyways, I digress. And Donna Troy was another one that she was another one that she grew a lot. She started off with the Wonder Girl costume, where it was the blue, like very similar, and like had like the kind of tank topish kind of red with the gold emblem, and then the ponytail, and then she got into the gold or the red onesie with the V-neck and the black boots and the classic Donna Troy, and then she had the Galaxy dress, and then she had the Galaxy whole body costume.
The Galaxy bodysuit, I think,
was my favorite.
Is great.
With the silver. And that really worked for her, was the silver, because she was not Wonder Woman.
Yes, exactly.
So.
And as far as Supergirl goes, I mean, since kind of the whole thing that kicked us off was talking about Supergirl's boots, okay? She's got these, like, over-the-knee boots, and I really like them. I think that they're great. They've got this sort of like a V shape, like they've got some kind of wire in them keeping the shape of them, and I think that's really good. I feel like there was that visually they look good, they make sense. I really like the tights underneath, because I mean it's true. I mean you're not, especially for a TV show.
Yeah,
it would not be practical to have a lady flying around in a skirt like that, because you would just be uncomfortable doing that. And so I like that she's got the tights, she's got these really cool over the knee
thumb
boots.
holes, like
the thumb,
kind of gives it like an athletic look.
I am currently wearing a shirt with the little thumb holes. I think that they're great. Are they practical? I don't know. They keep my hands warmer than they would be, I guess, which is nice. But yes, the athletic look. It's got an athletic look, but still a very femme look.
Yeah, and it's still very feminine, and yeah, they did really well with the TV series.
I think one of my favorite comic Supergirl looks was the one that had like the bell sleeves. It was the like blue
70s,
shirt.
the 70s.
Yeah, the 70s
it had the little emblem up on the right or the left side.
Yeah,
I think.
and she's got the bell sleeves and still got the red skirt.
I always loved the headband. Maybe that's why I like the Black Canary, because it's the headband.
The headband,
man.
that's what
headband.
you like.
Like, I don't know. Like, it makes me think of like a robo instructor.
And I did like the one that she had that was like a mini skirt and a white T-shirt. I mean that one. I mean it's that one. I thought it looked like a teenager. She really looked like a teenager.
Yeah, the animated series one. Yeah,
and it was more animated, but they brought in it was part of the comics too. She had the headband and like I think it was it a blue skirt? It was almost like a pencil skirt.
It was like a dark blue,
mini
or it could have
skirt.
been black with blue highlights. Kind of.
I think it was blue,
but
it was
that was probably my least favorite one.
I like that one because she really looked like the way a teenage girl would dress.
I will give you that. I take it back though. That's probably not my least favorite one. My least favorite one is probably the more current incarnation where they did the swimsuit and with the thigh high kind of boots. Like
Yeah, the
Oh,
new
so
one,
she
yeah.
had the vagina shield?
It was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Yes.
It was kind of weird. I
I didn't like the vagina
No.
shield.
Like I said, the classic one. I think, like you mentioned, the puffy arm one is a good one. But I like the Michael Turner, Ed Benes. The skirt, the halter top, kind of the long. It's like long sleeves, and the animated series one. I
kind of
thought
had like the pointed. It had
Yeah.
the point in the end.
You mean like the one she had a blue skirt and a blue top, and it was a crop
Like-
top but long sleeves?
I think it was a blue top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she had the crop
Yeah.
top with
Yeah.
it was a shorter red.
Yeah.
Cape,
And it's kind of the
yeah.
classic. It's
I
kind of
like-
the Helen Slater
I
outfit.
liked
actually,
that
in a
one,
sense.
but
Helen Slater was fully
boy, did some artists
What's she
take some
called?
liberties with that one.
Yes, they did.
Sometimes she had less of a skirt and more of a ruffle.
Yes. Yeah.
That was the
ruffled
Ian
belt.
Church.
Yeah.
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 Churchill one, yeah.
Yeah, Ian, but there were some other
Oh, it's-
folks that did that one,
A lot of
and it
ones.
looked really good. And that was another one where when it was drawn correctly, it really did look
Mm-hmm.
like something that a teenage girl would have put together as their costume.
Okay.
Well, all right. I've learned a lot.
That's a good way to stop it.
I usually don't.
We'll pick this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I usually don't pick my comics apart with the costumes, so I've learned a lot.
You're gonna start now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be reading them, and I'll be. Well, it's got a crop top. I don't know. I like this.
This is not in. This is in.
So, yeah. If any comments about this? What's your favorite costume? Your favorite guy superhero costume? Favorite girl superhero costume is? Least favorite? We'll cover that on the next episode.
And we're gonna
Is
thank
Alan
our-
insane with his headband?
Yes.
Does Alan have a headband fetish? Maybe.
Also, I want to thank Raquel and Alan for coming
Yeah.
in and talking about fashion for us. I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
because we never would have made this an hour and a half.
We couldn't have done this
couldn't
by
have.
ourselves.